What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're back. MLB The Show 24. Seattle Mariners franchise. The year is 2031. We are in June. You can see we're 2 weeks into the month. This is how we're doing. We're 43 and 28 for the year, which is actually better than I thought we were going to be. We have a pretty young team now. We've got some prospects developing. You can kind of see right here the standings. We're well ahead of the Rangers and the A's, who are both actually pretty good this year, but we've been beating up on them pretty good. They should probably both be above 500, but our whole division's kind of balanced out a little bit, which is nice. We'll take a look at our roster here. This is what the Mariners look like. Julio and Jason Dominguez are the two best players on the team right now. We turned Jason Dominguez into an absolute stud. Finally got the opportunity that he did not get in New York. Gold glove right fielder, switch hitter, you know the drill. So him and Julio kind of at the top. And then, of course, can't forget about Cole Young, homegrown guy. Hitting a lot of home runs this year. Batting average and on base really hasn't been there for us. But we'll take some bombs. Nothing wrong with that. He's been playing great defense as well. And then you get into Kirby and Bryce, who are the top dogs on our pitching staff. Both of them are still dominating, too. Actually, it looks like Bryce has had some rough outings. But George Kirby, for sure, still dominating 9-3 with a 2.64. Luis Arias has turned into a nice third baseman. He's been like an 83, 84 for the whole franchise. Once again, putting up another solid season. And actually, this has been one of his best seasons. We'll have to see kind of with the OPS what ends up happening in the second half. Very comparable to 2029. And he's in a walk year. So there's a good chance that he goes on and gets himself another contract, which is fine. Because we've got Ty Locklear ready to take over some third base. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Got Bradfield Jr. And he's kind of been a fourth outfielder because we've had a lot of success with developing outfielders. Mitch Denny, the lefty, kind of having a subpar year, I guess you could say. The whip's been pretty high. That'll probably come down. Some relievers in there. Logan Gilbert's dropped all the way to an 82. Did not expect that to happen. That's kind of rough. Munoz is still plugging along. He's been a good closer this season for us. Dominic Canzone's still hitting bombs. Batting average, on-base percentage have come down a little bit. That's to be expected. He's into his age 33 season. But he does have 18 home runs. He's on pace for potentially another 40 home run season, which would be pretty cool. Ty Pete, still the shortstop for us. He's kind of got about as good as he's going to get. There's a good chance he gets replaced next season. We'll talk about that as well. Matt Ray into the bullpen this year. May come back to starting pitching duties at some point with a little more development, but we'll have to see. Ty Locklear's been playing first base for us. You can see he's still kind of hanging around that 80-ish overall. I was hoping he'd take a big leap. He hasn't really been able to do that, but offensively he's been solid. I would like to see him do a little bit more in the on-base department. I think that's kind of what's hurting his value right now as a player. But the power numbers with 11 home runs, he's on pace to potentially be a 30 home run guy, which is cool. Cal Raleigh, 15 homers this year. Definitely has taken a step back in the power department, but the batting average has been really good. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes with him finishing up his career here in Seattle. He's in his age 34 season, 373 career home runs. Chambliss as a rookie, he's been out of the bullpen. He's been decent. Mark Patton's been solid. He's been getting wins. The ERA's been up a little bit. His fielding independent pitching has actually been solid. So we'll have to see if that kind of straightens out as time goes on. That's kind of the gist of it there. We've got the rookie, of course, Josh Hooper, a guy that nobody expected to see make the starting lineup and be a regular player. But he forced himself into the lineup, and he's stayed there ever since. 20 doubles, 8 homers, 290, 344, 446, and an 809 OPS for a rookie switch hitting left fielder. And you can see he hits well. The defense is pretty bad. But you know what? When you're playing like that, that's just fine. He really lengthens the lineup for us, so that's been cool. Get into some of these, what would you call it, depth guys, our minor league prospects. And see our closer situation. We got some cool cool dudes in there. Sergio Carros, I'm pretty excited about. Lefty, Caraballo is good. And we've seen Chambliss and Cuevas. Mustafa Pepper, top catching prospect in our organization. 19 years old, switch hitter, great defender. The bat is terrible, but the bat's coming. If we could get him at least up into the 50s, kind of across the board, I think he could end up making the big leagues pretty soon. Jameson Green's another guy that we like, good plate vision. So it'll be interesting to see those guys. Pepper, I think, is for sure the best bet for us. If you just look at the defense, he's a 62 overall, and he's already pretty much above league average defensively. He's still got a long way to go to max out his potential, so that'll be fun to watch. First baseman, Will Ludwig and Greg Guacho. Greg Guacho is 21 years old. You can see the bat skills are there, the hit tool, plate vision, clutch is coming along, and he's durable. No pop at all, which is strange for a guy who's 6'5", 239. But we'll work on that. We'll get him right, get him going. I'm pretty excited to see him, I would imagine, next season. He's probably going to be our everyday first baseman. That's going to be a lot of fun. Cole Young. He's Cole Young. We talked about him. Absolute stud. About the best second baseman in baseball. Rios and Locklear are the third baseman. Of course, we've got Locklear playing first base. But Freddie Benitez, drafted last year. Switch hitter with light tower power. We're so excited to get him going. He's going to be absolutely electric. Not too many guys come in out of the draft at 18 years old with mid-60s power. Like, that is definitely an outlier. B potential. He's going to be nuts. He's going to be a serious problem. So, I'm excited to see that. And then, of course, kind of the top prospect in the whole organization right now, Richie Cruz, 20-year-old shortstop. He will be taking over next season at age 21. Switch hitter, crushes righties. Not a lot of pop there, but he's got some plate vision, got some discipline, a little bit of clutch in there. Really good arm. I'm hoping to see that defense overall come up a little bit. Hopefully you get close to 70s. And once that happens, he'll be ready to roll. He's going to be outstanding. So I'm excited about that. Left fielders, we talked about Canzone and Hooper. James House has kind of been our top guy that we want to see develop. Big dude, has some pop. But the bat really hasn't developed. Defensively, he's really good. 86 reaction is nice. Don't need a lot of arm strength in left field. 69 is fine. A little bit of speed in there. He's durable. We're hoping to see those power numbers get up into the 60s a little bit, and then we can kind of take it from there with that development. He's been terrible in AAA, so I don't know what we're going to do there. But we may have to get in there and fix some things. I might have to play some AAA games and get him going. Center field, there's not much to say. We've got Roger Valencia, an 18-year-old, good speed, but he's a long ways out. So we're not too concerned about that. Right field's interesting. Michael Barrett, the potential and everything is good, but his skill set just really doesn't make any sense for us. He's really not that good. He's slow, doesn't play any defense, doesn't hit for power, so he's going to kind of unfortunately be a bust. We do like Robbie Knight, though. 5'9", 190, bats right, throws right, big power against lefties, big arm. Almost to the point where he's got some speed. We'll have to see how that plays out. Lee Hamill's also not a bad choice either. He's got some pretty good skill defensively, a little bit of speed, hits lefties. So there's some options in there, depending on what we want to do moving forward. But that's pretty much it for our roster. Quick breakdown there. We'll look at our scouting real quick. These are two guys that I'm scouting right now. Charles Saito, center fielder, switch hitter, throws left, out of Japan. Good arm. You can see that he's got, looks like some speed as well. We'll have to see how that plays out. And then Greg Butcher, a left-handed hitting first baseman, does throw right. Kind of solid across the board. I like what I see. Kind of just a solid bat in there. Be interesting to see if he develops or has the potential to really break through his future ceilings that they have for him. And we're constantly discovering prospects, of course, but we can look at the prospect list a little bit. This is what we got going on here in Seattle. So the top prospect that we've scouted is Giancarlo Sixto, a starting pitcher. Our scouts love him. They have him ranked 8th. His potential is 80 to 95 as an 18-year-old. It's going to be really hard not to take him first round. The problem is I really don't need starting pitching. I've got starting pitching. I'm hoping maybe he'll still be a second round guy. MLB had him ranked at 80. I don't know if that's a reasonable gamble, but it might be. We'll have to see. But yeah, cutter, changeup, slider, curveball. Really nice pitch mix there. Looks like he's got some good velo. And then we'll have to see what happens with the stamina. The stamina is kind of the one thing I'm a little nervous about, but he might be all right. That's kind of the top guy. Bob Self is probably going to be our first round draft pick if he were to fall to us. They do have him ranked at 35 on MLB, so there is a chance that we get him. He's got a really nice skill set. Hits for contact nicely. Hits lefties, which is important. Great arm. Maybe some speed in there, but we'll have to see how that plays out. For sure, kind of a good profile for a right fielder. So I really like that. Moving on down the line, we do have this guy, Rodney Rolls, who we discovered. He's a lefty. Four-seam slider sinker. Might be a nice pick later on down the line. We'll have to see when we finish up scouting. Luther Smith was a guy we looked at. We like the pop. We like the arm, but it's just not as good as Self. Phil Hartley was another guy that we were interested in. Unfortunately, we kind of called it off. We really wanted to see him do well with the power. It's hard to find power in this game, but unfortunately, I just don't think there's enough upsides to him. It looks like the defense is pretty bad. The speed could be nice, a nice power speed combo. We may revisit this and see if our scouts change their mind. If he falls the second round, maybe that could be an option, but for right now, I don't think we're going to really be that interested in him. Junior Hicks was a guy I was really hoping would be good. Our scouts liked him initially, and then he fell all the way to a second round pick. The thing I like the most about him, switch hitting catcher with pop. Not much not to like there. Still a very tempting pick, because honestly his skill set plays, you know what I mean? He's guaranteed to have pop, but I don't know how that overall is going to end up looking. You know, if he comes in at a 71 overall, you know, then he'd probably be at the top of his game, but if he comes in the 50s or 60s, he's really going to be just kind of an average catcher, so I don't know if that's a risk I want to take, but we'll have to see. Stephen Chang, I thought maybe was going to be the answer. He really didn't look like he was going to be anything that great. Third baseman, obviously. Jackie Bowser was one that I thought was maybe a long shot. I just liked his skill set. And not much really there to work with. Still could have a chance to be okay, but probably going to be a guy that we pass on. There's still some guys out here, like Jose Perez is one that I like. I think he could end up being a second round draft pick, but we'll have to see. What else we got here? Preston McGill, we liked his profile as a reliever, throws really hard. Might still pick him up in the late rounds, but I don't think he's going to hang around being a left-handed reliever that throws hard. Just seems unlikely. Teddy Nunez is a first baseman switch hitter. We do like the skill set there. He may still be a guy that we look at in the late rounds. We really like this guy, Art Crook. 20 years old, so he's not really up super high on the rankings by other teams, but he's a guy that has a nice skill set. I do worry about his arm out there and right, but as a flyer type guy, maybe he's able to make something happen. And Hendricks Johnson is interesting as well, but his profile is weird. 5'11", 174. Alden Oweja. This was a guy that we actually really liked. He was a discovery guy, a catcher. He doesn't really look that exciting on paper, but looks like the potential's there, and he's not ranked. So he's a guy that maybe some other teams did not find when they scouted. So that could end up working out good for us. Robert Schuster, we thought maybe he was going to be a big stud of a first baseman. Looks like he could hit a little bit in field, but the potential is kind of in question. He may end up just being an average type player. We don't really want that. Donovan Ingram, we do need to scout because I think this guy will be a diamond in the rough. Bats left, throws right. Good arm out there for left field. So we'll have to finish up the scouting and really see what we got. Justin Nelson, I like him a lot. Good arm. So there's still some guys left to be scouted. We haven't finished it all up yet, but we're definitely getting down to the wire, getting our rounds figured out, kind of figuring out what the plan is. We got international outfield. We'll do another international catcher and see if we can find anything interesting there. And that's pretty much it. That's where we're at here. If you guys have had a chance to tune into the live streams, they're pretty fun. We've been having fun on there. I've been trying to shoot for like 4 hours Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. That's usually been the time that I've been able to put together. I did have one where I did a 7-hour stream. That was honestly a little bit long. By the end, I was kind of gassed, just having bad at-bats and whatnot. But we'll wrap that up. I hope to see you guys on the stream. I will be streaming later tonight, so if you're seeing this right now, I will be on later. I appreciate all you guys, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.